Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you so much for all the support. It has been a roller coaster ride these past couple of months, an experience learning all of this with you. Again, thank you, appreciate the support. So let's jump into this review. Today I have the Dragon Tarot. I will say I don't remember where I got this deck from. It's been sitting in my collection for a bit. As you can see, this box is pretty banged up, pretty dinged up. Here on the side, it says a spectacular 78 card tarot deck capturing the perceptive powers of the legendary dragon. Here's the back, and again the front. It is a very simple little box. Opens up like this. Here we have a guidebook, created and illustrated by Pracownik. Don't know if I said that correctly. It's published by US Game Systems. It is a very simple little book. It has an introduction. It goes over the majors. And again, it tells you a little bit about what it stands for, a divination meaning, a reverse meaning. And then when we get to the minor arcana, it tells you about the suit itself. And then for each card, it just has keywords. Very simple. On the back, it tells you about reading the cards, and it gives you here a spread, and it tells you what each card means. Very simple, tiny little writing, very simple little book. Not very useful, but if you're new to tarot, definitely give it a read. So here we have a couple of cards at the beginning. This one is just an introductory card again. And then here we have a little bit about the tarot deck. It says, Dragon Tarot. Enter the magical and mysterious world of the dragon as you are led through a realm of different dimensions on a fantastic journey. The Dragon Tarot represents the fulfillment of centuries of research into symbolism by mystics from the world over, bringing together the stories, myth, and magic from cultures as diverse as ancient Babylon, Egypt, and Imperial China, to the legends of King Arthur, St. George, and Siegfried. Following traditional tarot symbolism, the Dragon Tarot by Pracownik and Terry Donaldson is also designed for adventuring into the realms of imagination and discovering ourselves more fully. So again, that's an introduction about the Dragon Tarot. Now let's take a look at the cards. So the first card in the deck is the Fool card. Here you can see on the bottom of the deck, we have the Fool, some symbolism on the bottom, again, and a beautiful dragon on it. Here we have the Magician, the High Priestess. Here's the Empress. Here we have the Emperor, the Hierophant, the Lovers. Oh, I like the yin and yang play on this. Obviously, we have that symbol up on top. The dragons, different colors, they're intertwined. Those tails wrapped around each other. Beautiful. Here we have the Chariot, Strength. I like how in this one they added the lion, which is typical of the Strength card, along with the dragon, because this is the Dragon Tarot. Here we have the Hermit, the Wheel of Fortune. That's beautiful. Here we have Justice. Oh, I like this. The Hanging Dragon. Instead of the Hanged Man, of course, it's a dragon. Death. That is a gorgeous, beautiful, striking card. Here we have Temperance. Of course, the Devil. Very dark, very ominous. The Tower. And I like how the dragon is the one bringing the tower down. The Star. The Moon. And of course, the Sun. There's like a cat or a lion in the sun. It's very interesting. Judgment. It almost looks like a three-headed dragon, which is, I would assume it would be very hard to decide anything when there's three people involved. And of course, the World. And now we come into the minor arcana. We're going to start off with the Ace of Coins. Here we have the Two of Coins, the Three of Coins, the Four of Coins, and the Five of Coins. So as we get into the minor, you might start noticing something a little bit different. I wouldn't call this a pip deck. I would say it's a pip-inspired deck. So when you get into the minors, you're not going to have your traditional card symbols or imagery. You're still going to have representation of what the card's supposed to mean, but it's going to be a little more simpler, which to some people might be a bit of a put down if you're not familiar or used to tarot decks. But I think these images are rather beautiful and they speak for themselves. So I would say if you're able to get a hold of this deck, give it a chance, give it a shot, give it a try. It's not going to hurt. Here we have the 6 of coins, the 7 of coins, the 8 of coins, the 9 of coin, and the 10 of coin. The page of coin, the knight of coin, the queen of coins, and the king of coins. Now we go into the suit of swords, and here we have the ace of swords, the 2 of swords, and the 3 of swords. So here we have a traditional representation of a 3 of swords. This is why I said before, it is a pip-inspired deck. I wouldn't call it a full pip deck. You do get some cards to have a traditional imagery, and some do not. So we're probably going to go through these cards a little bit quicker than normal. The 4 of swords, the 5 of swords, 6 of swords, 7 of swords, 8 of swords. Here we have the 9 of swords, 10 of swords, the page of swords, the knight of swords, the queen of swords, and the king of swords. Now we go into the suit of wands. We start with the ace of wands, the 2 of wands. Here's the 3 of wands, the 4 of wands. Here's the 5 of wands, the 6 of wands, the 7 of wands, the 8 of wands. Here's the 9 of wands, the 10 of wands. Here's the page of wands, the knight of wands, queen of wands, and of course the king of the wands. And last but not least, we have the suit of cups. Here is the ace of cups, 2 of cups, the 3 of cups. Here's the 4 of cups, the 5 of cups, the 6 of cups, 7 of cups. That's a beautiful card. The 8 of cups, the 9 of cups. Now, if you're a fan of a certain monster catching game, that image might look familiar. Here we have the 10 of cups, the page of cups, the knight of cups, the queen of cups, and lastly, the king of cups. Now let's take a look at the deck and how the cards feel in your hand. First off, here we have the back of the cards. Very beautiful dragons on the corners, fully reversible if you're into reverse meanings. The cards, I would say, standard size, maybe a little bit smaller, a little bit shorter, I would say. The cardstock itself, it's okay. It's not going to win any awards, but not bad for what it is. If we do an overhand, there is a little bit of sticking, not too bad. This is a newish deck. I think I pulled it out maybe once or twice since I got it. So the cards, they have a bit of shine, not too much. They flow pretty nicely. If you're into ripple shuffling, I'd say it does a pretty good job. The cards come out pretty good. So this has been the Dragon Tarot. Now, one thing that I do like about this deck is the continuity between each suit. So here we have the Knight, Queen, and King of Coins. And as we can see, almost the same dragon, the same background, the same colors. It catches your eye. I think it's really nice when a deck has cohesion and a bit of storytelling. Here we have the Knight, Queen, and King of the Suit of Swords. As you can see, a lot more silver, blues, and grays. It really does give you that idea that it is a sword, right? A piece of metal, a piece of steel. Here we have the Knight, Queen, and King of Wands. And of course, wands, it is an element of fire. And here we have these darker browns and reds and earthy tones that is in it. Here in the Knight, we have volcanoes. In the Queen, there's some pyramids in the background. And the King, it looks like a Middle Eastern Arabian style temple. And then we have the Suit of Cups. So the Knight, King, and Queen of Cups. Again, very similar to the swords, but it's a little bit, I would say it's darker. There's more blue, less silver. Again, the Dragon's Pursuit are consistent, and I really do enjoy that about this deck. So that was my review of the Dragon Tarot. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure to give it a like, hit subscribe if you're not already. It really does help out the channel. Please let me know, drop a comment down below. What do you think? Would you get this deck? Let me know, is there a deck that you are interested in seeing? Is there a deck that you have been eyeing and you're not too sure about it? Put that down below. Again, thank you so much for staying to the end of the video. I really do appreciate it. It really does mean a lot to me. Every view, every like, every share helps out the channel tremendously. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.